right, hello and welcome to a brand new podcast. The first episode weirdly is happening on YouTube, but there'll be an audio version of this, so we're gonna pretend like that's happening. Although we will have the chat box going up there on the right, so if there's some stuff happening, that's pretty cool. So feel free to weigh in there. But for the purposes of this being an audio podcast, that will potentially be a video podcast in the near future. We'll try to stay on track. But if you got good questions and stuff, we'll throw you on there. I'm Kevin Turner. Joining me is Jesse Kubanet. Hello, Jesse.
Woo! It's good to be here.
I'm glad you're here. And you and I have been kicking this around for a few months, just kind of throwing around. You and I are also the co-champions of the SNL Fantasy League. I think we got 4 points last year each, which is a pretty good number for 20 episodes. And we were just kind of kicking around like, okay, we kind of watch SNL still and we pay attention to it. Why don't we just do a podcast about it every once in a while? So what we're doing is getting ahead of season 51. We have October 4th as your season premiere date. They've announced the first three, but man, we've had some off-season transactions as well. We'll get into all that. I feel like SNL, we were talking about this the other day, it's kind of like it's like following a sports team a little bit.
And I think even Lorne, if you read the Lorne book, he refers to it like following the Yankees.
Yeah, he is a big Yankee fan too. That's a story of Lorne lore. Is if he invites you to go sit very close, I would imagine at a Yankee game, then you're in pretty good graces.
I think the seats are right behind home plate. You'll occasionally see like Michael Che and random cast members hanging out.
Yeah, that means it's those are the guys, the deputies, the people who get invited to the Tuesday night dinner. I mean, all these things that we've all just heard of and read about for all these years, it still sounds crazy. I don't think it'll ever feel normal. And I
don't know what the next iteration will be. And I'm sure we'll be covering this season and this show as Lorne transitions out at some point. But yeah, there's so much weird SNL lore and his foot soldiers that he has, and it's just a weird existence of a show that has maintained over time.
I would also like to thank Mick Jimenez, who made our cover art here. I don't know if this will show up well in the video, but I've see there it says the after party. Got it right above Jesse's head on there. It'll be the cover that you've clicked on clearly for the audio podcast. That's pretty simple. But let's start out, Jesse, by talking about who's gone. We lost 4, and I think two really heavy hitters. We lost, I think, a guy that you and I both really liked a lot. And then another one as well, who was a newcomer, who I thought was a pretty quick exit for him as well. But the big one, I think, is Heidi Gardner leaving after 8 seasons. Did you have any big, strong thoughts on Heidi over the years?
I thought she was excellent. I was super surprised to see her go. Am I echoey for you, by the way?
You're doing great for me. I saw someone say something in the chat, but you're doing great for me.
I'm a little echoey myself, but
okay.
We'll press on. I thought Heidi was excellent. I thought she was really, really good. Oh yeah, people are saying echo, echo, echo. I think it's just for my echo.
Okay, I'm not getting that. So,
hey, wait, what if I just go sans AirPods? Oh wait, hold on. If you're in the chat, tell me if there's echo now, because I don't hear it anymore. Fixed. All right.
Got it.
We're back.
That'll do it.
We were talking about Heidi Gardner. Sorry for the echo, but thank you for the people who called echo.
Should we start over? I mean, we're live.
We
these are my people.
Start
they don't
over
care.
Completely from the top.
Yeah. Dude, these are my people here. Dude, these people in the chat.
Yeah, people that are in this are SNL nerds too.
Yeah, and they also know
late night nerds as well. This is SNL focused, but obviously, like, I was at Kimmel for almost a decade of my life, so that was a big thing this week. But like, even him alluding to like Jack Parr's Tonight Show, like, I feel like people in this chat get that and understand that. But anyway, we were talking about Heidi Gardner. I think it was
Hold
a
on,
super
Jesse.
big
Hold
surprise.
on a second. This is good. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to start all over.
We're
And
gonna
this
redo it.
again, the people in the chat, they know if I'm behind something, there's a good chance it's going to mess up. We're going to
We didn't
start
go
over.
too far.
No, but that's okay. I can take it. It's just going to, for like posting the audio and all that anyways. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it'll be snippier this time too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was kind of wandering around. Hey, everyone, behind the scenes of what it's like to do a new podcast. And
It'd be funny if the echo started again.
let's get rid of this. Hold on. Check this out. Boop. Holy cow, it's the first episode of a new podcast called The Afterparty. I'm Kevin Turner with my friend Jesse Kubanet. Hello, Jesse.
Hello, here, and for the first time.
Dude, long time no see. I feel like I haven't talked to you in years.
I know. It feels, at times we live in these strange times. Sometimes it feels like days, sometimes it feels like weeks, other times it feels like minutes.
Yeah, you never really know. And I got to tell you, the way things are going right now for me, I think this podcast has potential to end up being a full video thing. But for now, we're going to do this here. We're going to put an audio version out for everyone that we're going to make it sound real good. It'll be on Spotify and most places you get your podcast, I think, because here's how it works. You upload the podcast and then they ask you a bunch of questions about it. And then they take a minute to look at it and make sure you're probably not spreading hate speech or something. I'm not real sure, but it will get it up eventually. But we're here. It's a new SNL podcast, and it's called The Afterparty. Thanks to Mick Jimenez, who made our cover art here. Like where he said 12:01. Now, Jesse, you're currently on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So you watch Saturday Night Live. Does it come on at 10:30 out there, or does it come on at 8:30?
I think live it's newer, more recent years where we can get it at around 8:30 p.m. Yeah, the adjustment whenever I do make the move to Central Standard Time, adjustment for sports and SNL is going to be a bummer because our late night shows, all the standard late night shows, they hold those and they start, at the normal time. But SNL, they go live coast to coast.
Yeah, Central Time Zone has really got all the perks when it comes to that. It just lacks having an ocean. Unless you're on the coast.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't want to
No
be on the
oceans.
coast.
But there's that thing in Waco where you can go surfing now.
Oh, of course. And we have one up here in Frisco too. Yeah.
Do we really?
Yeah, I think
Man,
so.
Frisco.
So look, here's the deal. Jesse and I both love SNL. We're the co-champions of the SNL Fantasy League. Jesse already has 2 points, I believe, on this year's Fantasy League as well with Bad Bunny and Role Model. We're going to talk about the upcoming episodes that they have announced. The season premiere for season 51 is October 4th. We're going to get into all that, but SNL is a bit like following a sports team as well. That means we've got free agency. We've made some new acquisition. Let's first talk about who's gone. Now, 4 people out of here, 2 heavy hitters. One fella that we both like a lot, and we'll talk about him in a second, and then another kind of newcomer who I thought was pushed out pretty quickly. We'll start with Heidi Gardner. Go ahead, Jesse. Give us your thoughts on Heidi.
I thought Heidi was excellent. I thought she really came into her own really fast, which for people who don't, and this is something we can probably get into more as we go through the podcast and start to find out more about these new people and the current people we have on. But I'm sure if people are listening to this, they're familiar with the Groundlings Theater, which not only did give us like Phil Hartman, Pee Wee Herman, Will Ferrell, Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, et cetera, et cetera. It's Lisa Kudrow, Conan went through the Groundlings. It's a pipeline for Saturday Night Live. And the way the Groundlings works, and again, this might be an episode where if we have guests or something one time and we have someone from the Groundlings, that's something we can go really, really deep. But I'll paint with broad strokes because I think that this is why Heidi Gardner was so good, so fast. The Groundlings has a system that you go through. It's improv classes, and then it's these uh, other system of classes called Writing Lab. And the Groundlings, which is different from your second cities, people know that from Chicago, Toronto, and then Upright Citizens Brigade or IO, Improv Olympic, where I have more of a background in those spaces. Those, like, everybody goes through. You pay, you go through the classes, like, they will maybe hold you back if you're, not good or not grasping the concepts, but generally pay to play. If you're paying, you pass through. You have to be good to perform to get on the stage and get stage time. The Groundlings is really, really intense. They will actually cut you after classes. I think everybody gets through the improv stage, but then as you get into the writing portion, your goal is to reach something called Sunday Company and then main company, where you become an official groundling, which those are alumni and you're a groundling for life. Heidi, I don't know if she officially made groundling. She for sure was Sunday Company because I know people that she was on Sunday Company with. And Sunday Company is a miniature SNL. And I actually think if you really look at it, it might even be more intense than Saturday Night Live. You put a show on every Sunday, every week of the year. And I think they maybe only take off 2 to 4 weeks, whereas SNL has 20 episodes, sometimes 18 episodes based on the season.
Mm-hmm.
And you are writing, sketching, rehearsing, performing. You are paying to do this because you pay for your props. They have props and things there, but like if you have some ridiculous prop that you need that they don't have, you have to provide that. So Heidi was in this pipeline along with a bunch of other people that I just mentioned who go on to SNL, and they come up because they're really good, really fast, because they have it in their bones and they've been doing it for that long. So Heidi popped fast, specifically on Update, because she was probably bringing Groundlings characters that she's done for probably years right to SNL. So she knows this is going to hit, this is going to be good to go. I think she did one in a more recent year where she was like Freddy Krueger, who was a camp counselor. I think that's right from the Groundling stage. And they probably rewrote it with other SNL writers, but she has, and they all have a bag of tricks that they come to SNL with. But that was a long explanation of the Groundlings, but I think that's why Heidi was so good so fast. And her exit was a surprise to me as a fan because I kind of looked where they were going, especially in, I think, a season that's going to have a lot of eyes on it after 50, pretty intense political climate. And I thought she was going to be someone to carry the show. So in my opinion, I don't know if this is true or not, I don't think Heidi left on her own. I think Ego left on her own. And we know that Longfellow and Emil did not leave, on their own. I think Ego left on her own for other opportunities. I don't think Heidi did, which is what makes this surprising.
Yeah, it felt weird. And maybe they were like, hey, 7 years of Heidi. Heidi got here in, I believe, 2017, right? And I will, in a second, I want to run through some of her impressions just to show you the range. What I think was really great about Heidi, and you can say this about a lot of people, but it is a show where historically a lot more men than women are on the show. So the women who are playing a bunch of different roles. Now they've had eras where the women have really come on. There's been a lot of women, but I thought, like, in her early days, you could kind of typecast Heidi for something, Valley Girl type, maybe do something physical, but then she could turn in and play a mom, or she would play an old person really well as well. Like she had a lot of range to do a lot of different things. And I think she was one of the more like physical players that they have. If you think back to last season, there's a very good sketch where she's doing the burger challenge when they're trying to break some serious news, or have the dementia talk or the Alzheimer's talk about their dad, and she's taking the burger challenge. But I was going through and looking at some of the impressions over the years. And this is different from separate characters. And I was just thinking, I really liked one from last year where she was Reba McEntire. was really funny.
Yes.
Reba McEntire, Taylor Swift, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's see. Oh, Christy Nome. That would probably still hold up these days. Mikey Madison. Kim Kardashian even. Never played Kim once. Jill Biden, Drew Barrymore, Aaron Andrews, Tracy Wolfson for our sports fans out there. Allison Janney, and then over to Cher. There's just a lot of different things. I know it's a show where you needed that, and we could probably say that about a bunch of characters, but I think Heidi really in the last couple years, you could really see, and man, it might have took like Kate McKinnon leaving and things like that, where you could kind of see like, okay, Heidi can kind of run the show. And I'm not sure they have that female now. I think we've talked about
one of the reasons why they did make that move is I think they like what they have in Ashley Padilla, who first year last year we didn't see a lot of in kind of like show-stoppy moments, but she was in a lot of stuff. I remember I just kept saying after episodes, like she had a lot of airtime. She might not have been the main focus. One thing I like about recent SNL right now, and this is something that I learned at Second City, is sometimes in the middle of the show, or kind of at the beginning, like it's a little cold opening, and then at the middle, they kind of want to do this is especially a Second City Chicago thing. They want to have a full cast piece. You want to introduce your cast to your audience. I think that really plays in a theater environment. Like if you go see any live sketch comedy show, like I think there's a decent scene in Dallas at various theaters where sketch teams are putting up performances. Most of the time, it's going to start with a big group, whether your sketch group is like 4, 5, 6, 8, or 10 people. Obviously, SNL is a larger cast. I'm thinking of the Riverboat guitar solo sketch from this season, which might have also been the Nate Bargatze episode. And Heidi was great in that. And kind of when I think of Heidi Gardner, I don't even really think of her celebrity impressions. I think of original characters that she brought, or a little bit like Cecily Strong of The Girl You Wish You Hadn't Talked to at the Party, the woman who was really busy. I think she just had so many update pieces that really stood out. And I actually, when I think of Heidi Gardner, I think more of her on Update, weirdly, as opposed to in sketches. But she was such a killer in sketches, and which again is why I think I'm surprised she's gone. I thought what they were maybe bringing was in more recent years with like Adie Bryant and Cecily, when they would be gone to shoot something and they weren't there for a long time. Maybe like Kate McKinnon did that too. I can't remember. But they would only be there for a couple episodes, and then it's like, oh, Adie had a Hulu show come out or something.
Yeah.
I thought Heidi was maybe in such high demand that she's off filming and she could only do half a season, and maybe like, it's fine, just go. It's weird to see. We see a lot of one and doners like Emil. Like we see that all the time. Like Paul Britton is one that comes to mind. Tim Robinson was a one and done cast member. He was writer, performer, and then I think back to writer, which again, I view him, this could be a whole nother episode. I view him in the Seinfeld lens of like Larry David and Julia Louis-Dreyfus, where like he is perfect, but not for that medium, which is just an interesting format.
I just went to IMDb, and there's a few things coming out with Heidi that's like things that are in post-production. She's going to be in a movie with Will Ferrell and Zac Efron. There's one called Road Dog, says 2026. None of these, though, well, it says stars Kevin Pollak, but that has Heidi as one of the feature, but she's not really on the headlining bill on any of these things. So, yeah, it is interesting. And you're right on the update thing. I mean, she had a bunch of characters. I mean, I think her frantic tax lady. Of course, the boxers, every girlfriend of a boxer in a boxing movie.
Oh, perfect.
Just excellent. And that takes us to Ego Nodum. So Ego's out after 7 seasons, and
this is on her own. This is her decision.
Yeah, she turned it in a week after, all the new casting decisions had been made, it seemed. The way it leaks out is kind of strange, but they kind of all happened at once with the new cast members, and then she left. And man, I mean, she's always been really solid and really good. And then I think the Miss Eggy thing took her to new heights. I mean, that was a huge like viral thing that happened last year, and she got to do it
Yeah.
on this season finale. So you could have looked at that and said, "Oh, this was her goodbye." But I'm thinking she was probably maybe. I mean, also these things that are contractual, we never know anything about them because no one ever talks about it, and that's
No.
frustrating. Would you want to know more about it?
That's
But
the difference between when you do the sports analogy of it being, I think a baseball team is probably the most fitting. Um, Baseball or basketball would be the most fitting comparison for Saturday Night Live because there's so many specialists that you can have in those sports. Whereas, like for a football team, like you need the line, you need the defensive line, you need, quarterback, receiver. There's everything that
yeah,
you need. But like you can get like very, very specific. Like Fred Armisen would have been like a very specific role player on a team, but he would have been like a fan favorite just because what he does is so specific and weird. Um, I don't think they let Heidi go if they know Ego's leaving. That's also my
I
guess.
agree,
I don't
100%.
know, we don't know the ins and outs of Saturday Night Live, but like you've worked in media long enough. I worked in late night TV long enough to know some sort of pieces of how the wheels on this thing go around. And then also like sometimes you just don't know what Lauren's gonna do or why he doesn't do something. Why did he not cast Stephen Colbert? Why did he not cast Jim Carrey? Like these are
Sure.
really, really weird swings and misses over time. Um, I bet Ego got something great to bring it back around to kind of the improv world where she came from. She's UCB, Los Angeles. Huge popular theater. Some of the newbies are UCB Los Angeles. I think that took a dip for a while, and that's a whole again another like improv theater world conversation we can go to. I think the way that they're finding comedians is a little bit different now, which I think is better for the show, and I think better for comedy. As someone who I was here through the final, and by here I mean Los Angeles, and you can include Chicago in that too. I think the final pipeline where Second City, Upright Citizens Brigade, Groundlings, and then there's all the New York theaters as well. But UCB is in that circle also of like this is the formula to go, and I think that's where the conversation of SNL is bad or SNL is formulaic. A lot of that came from, in my opinion, the UCB style of comedy, which is very like game based and again very improv nerdy. I didn't think we'd get this nerdy episode one, but it's very like, oh hey, you weird person, you're doing a weird thing, and everybody's kind of against that one weird person,
Yeah.
which is a sketch format that we all see. Whereas I like, and I think you like too, here's a person being weird, everyone else is also about to be even weirder, and I think that's what like you're seeing with I think you should leave, and even like shows like the Chair Company that are coming out or
Yeah.
Friendship. I think we're going to see a heightenedness of weirdness, and I think that's what I really love about where SNL is right now with like Andrew Dismukes and Sarah Sherman, and James Austin Johnson. They take weird and push it to a very fun place where it's fun for everybody.
Back in the day when they had 6 or 7 cast members, it was way easier to go, okay, church lady. I'm just using an example here. Church lady.
Mm-hmm.
Church lady's going to be insane. Everyone else is going to be a passenger. And everyone does their job well. And hey, maybe that's just perfect for what it was and having Phil Hartman where you can do a lot of things. But like when those days before the cast got as big as it is now, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
nowadays you really can start up in the ante on one side here, and then we're gonna test this part of the sketch out, like, and you can start playing around with a lot of different things. I think they've been doing a lot of like parade sketches as well, just to, like get everyone airtime because it's hard to get everyone a lot of shots. I think that's where we're going. Last take though is I do think it's a little bit of a rebuilding year. When you lose Heidi and Ego,
Yeah.
like there's going to be some issues that they have to deal with, and when we get to the new people we can see we can talk about that, but I just think this is a little bit of maybe okay, well, a step back and see, and because Ashley Padilla's been doing this for a long time, but she's been on this show for 1 year, and
Yeah. They're going
it's
to
asking a
give
lot of
some
Sarah Sherman
people,
to take over the show. You know?
yeah, they're going to give people a lot of swings. Like I do like, I think Sarah Sherman is so funny, and I'm so
Yes.
glad she's on the show. And she's someone who, I also think like her and Bowen's chemistry and friendship is so great. And these are two people that I don't think their comedy would have meshed. Like I don't think they ever like outside of Saturday Night Live. I don't think these two comedians we would see them do things together outside of maybe a road movie. And now we get them in commercials together. We get them in sketches together. They seem to be cool. I don't. Again, this is another thing as we like, and maybe even have guests that are affiliated with the show. SNL is super hard to do. It's super hard to make. It's really stressful. It can be very, very competitive. It's competitive to get to that point. And then it's almost even more competitive. You can't even really breathe a sigh of relief when you get the writing job or the cast member job because, like, okay, now I have to survive. Um, but that said, in the social media world we live in, they all seem to be pretty cool with each other,
Yeah.
which is really nice. And again, I know we spent a lot of time on Heidi and Ego as we should. I don't think I've seen Heidi say anything, which again makes me
No.
think it was not her call.
Yeah. No. I think yeah, we don't like full reporting on that. There's been a little gossip that it wasn't uh, her, but her decision. But maybe she was holding out too, and they're like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and make the decision for you. But who knows? There's a lot of things that
Yeah,
are going on there. She could have had an agent negotiating. There's the sports element to bring it in there, and she would trade him off to the Packers.
yeah.
Uh, we've seen this. So Michael Longfellow's next 3 seasons on the show, and
Oh, rest in
very
peace.
very easy for someone to go, oh my God, yeah, he's going to make sense to be the weekend update anchor and all that stuff. I did think actually made sense for him, but
Me
there
too.
were traces of, um, and part of this is appearance, but it's also vibe. There were like traces of Bill Hader that I could get out of him as well. I'm going specifically to the game show. What's
Hmm.
your name? Where he filled in basically when Bill Hader wasn't there anymore, and he was able to take on that creepy vibe, that sinister vibe, and make that work. But I also through all this, Michael Longfellow too. By the way, me and my wife went and saw him do stand up twice before.
Oh, did you see him when he
Awesome.
came through Dallas?
Yeah, the last 2 years, and would do it again.
I would
He
go
was
see him too. He's someone I would buy a ticket for, and I don't super love. It's very popular now, and like Birbiglia talks about this all the time. Like and a lot of the main like heavy hitter comics talk about like Instagram is just now crowd work comedy, which is not, it's not crafted jokes. It's not the material, which I get it. It's a way to get clicks. It's a way to get people to your shows, where then you showcase the good material. But he's had a few that I think are excellent, and a few that also showcase jokes,
yeah.
which I love.
He did it. So he was before he even started. He was like, "So my agents are telling me I need to have a through line." All right, for his whole stand up special, he's like, "What does that even mean?" Like that's his first joke of his hour long set. Is like, my agents are even telling me this is all going to be all over the place. So it's not
Yeah.
structured like it's being ready to be filmed for Netflix or something. But he set up an F Mary Kill it, on the fly, and it was involved a basically I was this is hard to remember for me, but the option that the guy had in the audience was to kill the guy next to him or to F his sick dog. Okay, so it's just he worked it away, and there's actually a random celebrity involved, like his random basketball player or something. Very strange, but don't worry about it. Don't let's get it straight. I thought Michael Longfellow would make a lot of sense to play Gavin Newsom, which they're going to
Oh
need to
yeah.
find. And I was like, because let's be honest, Gavin Newsom's going to be around for the next couple years.
Which would
It,
be interesting if because again, this is a Kimmel thing. I don't know if you've seen Josh Myers, Seth Meyers' brother,
yeah,
and I think he was on Mad
he
TV
was.
for a spell also, and then he came in on that 70 show when Topher Grace left, that's a weird time capsule of a thing. His Gavin Newsom is so good. I do think we'll get if Gavin Newsom becomes the player, which I think we all assume that's the direction it's going. We might see a James Austin Johnson emerge that we don't know yet, because I'm sure James Austin Johnson could do it, but Longfellow has the same long and lean build. Josh Myers 100%. Yeah, he looks like him.
Looks just like him.
But yeah, his Gavin Newsom's great. That would be an interesting choice. You said the free agency thing, and this hasn't happened in a while. Like, we have these newbies coming in, and they're newbies in the way that we've had newbies. Relatively unknown. They do stand-up. They do sketch, whatever. Maybe they're on YouTube. Maybe it's a Please Don't Destroy situation where you see them, and they're vaguely familiar, but that's it. We haven't seen someone as a free agency signing where you go out and get kind of a vet who, he's in-house. He does his podcast with Seth. He comes and does late night all the time. That would be a really interesting move. We haven't seen that. I'm thinking initially of Billy Crystal. Billy Crystal was kind of already Billy Crystal when they brought him on.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting if they do that.
Yeah. So we were all sad and shocked to see Michael Longfellow go, but I'll follow him.
Bummer.
Follow him anywhere. I hope he starts a podcast or something. Yeah.
He'll have an hour on Netflix, Hulu, or HBO by the end of 2026.
I certainly hope so. And then another guy who we didn't get to see too much on the show, Emil Joachim, is out. So he is the fourth and final guy who is out. He only got 5 impressions on the show, one of them being Luigi Mangione.
Which, lightning in a bottle. That was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, looked just like him. A couple bits on Weekend Update, but again, he just didn't get to do much. I was a little surprised that they cut bait, but that also tells me, as I'll let you share your thoughts, but that also tells me that they had their eyes on a few people in the new cast member realm, which we will discuss next. So
yeah, and the last thing on Emil, when he goes, that's one that I'm not shocked at. I'm pleasantly surprised that Jane Wickline survived. I was afraid that she was going to go, mainly because I want to see Jane and Marcelo keep doing the couple that you can't believe they're together.
Yeah.
I think that is so good. It's kind of one of her main things. I think she's great in cast pieces. When you watch sketches, that's the whole cast. I'm specifically thinking of the Peanuts one.
Sure.
Watch her and Longfellow in the back. Those are ones where, if you are an SNL nerd, which again, if you're listening to this, you probably are, go to those cast pieces and then just watch other people as the sketch unfolds. You'll get the main bones of the sketch, but then when it's the whole cast out there, do yourself a favor, go back and watch individual people. I think Jane in those moments does really well, but that doesn't really keep your seat. But she survived, which is good for her.
Yeah, no doubt. And the water slide sketch, she's very good.
That was one of my favorites of the year.
Yeah, and that's a Michael Longfellow sketch that Nate Bargatze went and championed, and they got it on the show. And Jane is great in that. To your point,
she's great. They were great together.
Yeah,
they were perfect together.
My really good friend Matt Sizik says, "R.I.P. Please Don't Destroy." That's kind of where we're going. New cast members, and I think we will start with Ben Marshall. Ben Marshall is, and I'll put his picture up on the screen in case there's anyone who's watching on YouTube and wants to see. There he is. Ben Marshall was of the group Please Don't Destroy. John Higgins is left the show. He's got some acting things lined up, he said on his Instagram post. Martin Herlihy is staying on as a writer, which is great. But the Please Don't Destroy thing is kind of gone. So
yeah,
we are. Ben Marshall, though, of the three, the most, I think, breakout cast member potential. Would you agree with that?
I 100% agree. If it had to be this way, and I'm glad that John Higgins is going off to do other things in greener pastures, and they're still touring together, and they've all been very open that like this is not the last we've seen of Please Don't Destroy, which is good. I would love for them to get their own sketch show in some way, like a half an hour. I've been watching a lot of Kroll Show, which I think is on Paramount right now. Which if you missed Kroll Show and you like sketch comedy, I think Kroll Show was way ahead of its time and super super funny, and it kind of flew under the radar of like Nathan For You was coming out at the time. That and the Ben Show were two that like didn't get as much play because of Nathan For You was so good. But I think Ben Marshall is the best of the three. He's the only one that's not, and they joked about it. He's the only non-Nepo baby. Hitched his wagon to the right, two horses with Marshall and John. But yeah, John Higgins is going to be fine. I think Marshall, Hurley would have like preferred it that way. I don't know if he would have wanted to be full cast. But I think Ben's great, and he's in a bunch of really funny. They've been doing ads for a while, and I think like companies have gone to Please Don't Destroy to do commercials, and then they bring Ben on.
Allegedly, Lorne helped set that one up last year too.
I would definitely buy that, and he's doing like a string of Goldfish ads right now, which he probably shot long before this decision was made. But like, I don't know, it's the ginger thing, obviously, but like Lorne probably sees a little Conan in this dude, and he's funny. He's good. He did some really good acting in their sketches, and I think they like him a lot, and I do too. I think it's really cool that we're going to see him flex a little bit. And again, the way it's not a negative ending for that comedy group, and where I think we'll see more, is it's the opposite of Beck Bennett and Kyle Mooney, where they were a part of a trio. Beck and Kyle get SNL, and I think their third, who is still active, forgive me, I forget his name, but maybe he came to SNL as a writer and then got fired at one point, or never came. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And then for Lonely Island, Andy gets cast. Akiva and Yorm get brought on to write. They've said it on their podcast. They were not going to do it if only one of them got it. It would have just been Andy just goes. So I think Please Don't Destroy is long for this world. It's just going to be, like a band taking a break.
I should say real quickly too, that Devin Walker is out as well. I didn't, on my notes here, I didn't lump him in with everyone because I
honestly didn't even see him in the departure thing either, which I mean,
because he left the week before.
Yeah.
That got out the week before. So that's why I didn't add it to my notes. And he was having a hard time getting on the show. I will say, I think it was a top 10 moment for me last year is his on the Weekend Update desk when he did a bit on the TikTok guy who's showing his morning routine. So he did that bit. To do that on Weekend Update was like, okay, now we're playing with the format a little bit.
He also, his bit as the New York mayor, I thought he crushed that. He's funny. He'll be super fine. I don't know how soon we'll see him. Like, I think Longfellow gets an hour, and I think Devin is a good stand-up that I think will tour regularly. That's the good thing about these people that are stand-ups and don't hit on SNL. Like, look at Brooks Wheelan, for example. Brooks Wheelan he's super funny and has had a really nice run of touring. I think he put out his own album, his own special. He regularly tours with John Oliver and Seth Meyers, and I think Birbiglia and all those guys. I think like Devin, I don't know if he'll have that level, but like he's going to be doing cities all over the country in the comedy clubs. Maybe not theaters, but like clubs for sure.
Let's go to Tommy Brennan. Last on Ben Marshall before we get to Tommy Brennan. I should say, like, he's got the leg up here. He's been writing there for a while with the 4 other cast members that are coming in. He's been there. I don't know how much it's desperate that they're like needing another guy to step in with. Mikey Day staying, Dismuke staying, Marcelo's there, James Austin Johnson's there, Bowen's gonna get a lot of time. Like there's gonna be room.
It is crowded.
It's a big cast already. So, but Ben Marshall, I think, could play a lot of straight man, roles as well and things like that. Tommy Brennan. What do you know about Tommy Brennan?
I know about Tommy just from in like Instagram, following a couple comics, and it's him and this guy named Jeffrey Asmus, who, if you guys are not following him, I think, I'll come back to Tommy in a second because I think Tommy's really funny too. I think Jeffrey Asmus, and it's Jeffrey spelled in a weird way. It's like Geoff. Um, I think this guy might be one of the smartest, funniest comics I've ever seen. He's like a very, very rich, history-minded guy, and his crowd work stuff and his joke crafting is out of this world. Like I don't think he fits on SNL personally, but I saw him with Tommy and like this other group of stand-ups in New York, touring around doing shows. That's where I saw Tommy from. I think Tommy's super funny. I will be super interested to see what his sketch prowess is. I've seen a few of his, and I say sketches, these are just light, videos he was making in apartments with these other New York comics. So he's capable of, all these people are very capable of acting. They can all do sketch. It's can you do it live? Can you show up on that format? And I think he will from a comedy standpoint. He was opening for Nikki Glazer for a super long time. So he's got comedy reps. It'll just be interesting to see how he translates. I think we'll see a lot of update pieces where Colin brings him out by name and he's doing a bit as himself early, which I think Longfellow did, Dismukes did, and Emil did.
His Wikipedia says he started at Second City, started improv at Second City, and then he then switched to stand up and was he worked at Cameo and LinkedIn for a while too. But yeah,
Oh
opened up
wow.
for Nikki Glazer, Taylor Tomlinson, and hey, and Louis Anderson. How about that? So yeah, again, yes, another stand up right there. And I want to transition now to Jeremy Coolhane. This is a guy who we'd actually seen, or I'd actually seen a little bit of from Dropout, which I'm not like a Dropout P1 or anything, but I've watched a few things. My buddy Matt Sizik, who's in the chat here, I think he's seen quite a bit too. And Jeremy Coolhane's, I think this guy has a potential to really make things very weird and in a good way. This has got almost, well, I don't know what the writing, I don't know what the writing, what his writing chops are, but just the performance, he's giving a little Tim Robinson, and I think that's great.
So I can speak directly on Jeremy. He and I came up in two circles that just missed each other in the Los
Wow.
Angeles comedy scene. So I moved to Los Angeles from Chicago, did Second City, did a lot of stuff there. Then I moved to Los Angeles, and I go through a theater that is, rest in peace, it's not there anymore, called the IO West Theater. And that's IO, not like iOS, like your iPhone. It's shortened for Improv Olympic because the actual Olympic Committee sued this comedy theater in Chicago in like the 80s. But there's an IO in Chicago that's still standing. IO West is dead now. But that is where I went through, took all classes, and that's where I did most of my improv and sketch performing in Los Angeles. Mostly because I just came from Chicago and was familiar with the formula. I go through all those classes there. Then I went over to UCB and went through the UCB system. Jeremy did it in reverse. He did UCB and then came over and did IO. So like we missed each other. We were taking
Wow.
classes at the same time at two different theaters, and then we flipped. So I was performing at IO when Jeremy was an intern, which would have been like vice versa. You occasionally like intern, and that's, you can do free classes that way. A lot of us did it. That's how I did it my whole run. He's super nice and super funny, and I know people that do the Dropout with him. I actually was not as familiar with his sketch stuff, but I saw it on his Instagram. Like, yeah, he does like a whole bunch of like weird avant-garde like character stuff. I think he can play straight man and normal and be really funny in that. Like that was he had some small appearances on shows like Sex Lives with College Girls. He can be like a straight across the bow person, but I think you're right. Like he can get really weird. And I mean that I think when we both say weird, we mean that in a good way.
No,
Probably,
absolutely.
probably
Yes.
evergreen throughout the course of us talking about Saturday Night Live. I like weird. Yeah, I'm happy for him. I know a lot of people that are like very happy for him. He's someone who gets something and everyone's like, hell yeah, that's great. So yeah, Jeremy's cool. It's also nice when you get a notion from someone, you're like, oh, good person
Yeah.
getting things, because sometimes not great people get things. He's a good person who got one. So that was just my little Jeremy tangent. But yeah, funny dude, got his reps for sure. He was always up doing shows.
Yeah, Jeremy Coyne. I think of the five, I think the five new ones, he's the one I'm most excited about for sure. And I would assume you are too, since you sort of know him. We'll go with
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
he also weirdly like went to TCU as well.
I
So
see, and that never
strange.
came up. I didn't know that. Yeah, every time
Yeah.
I'd ever talk to him, usually Texas comes up in one random way or another in with people who are from there, and that never came up. And I learned the TCU thing when everybody did.
Pulling for him. I guess speaking of Texas, because this guy, had moved to Austin, but he's from Florida. 26-year-old Cam Patterson is on Saturday Night Live now. He is famous, I would say, mostly because he's had a lot of appearances on Kill Tony. I had not seen anything on him. I had not seen anything on really any of these people besides, well, the girl we're about to talk about in a second, but also Jeremy, just a couple things on Dropout. I don't know about Cam Patterson, but I'm also not like Kill Tony, P1 or anything. So I went and watched some stand up. Nothing grabbed me, but I think the energy is something that you can clearly see. I
Yeah,
heard someone say this. I forgot if this was written or if this was someone talking about it. But like he's got the ability to have some real like alpha male energy, and like that bodes well for a Weekend Update. Immediately popping up on the Weekend Update table and stuff like that.
I do think we see him and Tommy at the update desk very soon. Within, I'm talking these first three shows, we see both of them if they have something to bring, where it's themselves doing essentially a season stand up bit that they tweak with one or two writers. I don't know that much about him either. I'm not a Kill Tony guy. I don't get it. I've tried, given it the old college try. It's not for me. But yeah, we'll see. Like I definitely, I always want like someone to get a swing. Like again, this thing with some of these other people, and I know we're about to move on to the next newbie. Like they seem really young and fresh, which I truly can't imagine. So I hope the best for him. Like it's pretty crazy that I mean, that's what SNL is. It launches them, but especially now, like we kind of like know how big it is.
Well, we'll clip that part. Ben Marshall 30, Tommy Brennan's 31, Jeremy Coyne's 33, Cam Patterson's coming into this thing at 26,
That's
which
crazy.
is, I guess Pete Davidson might have skewed how we look at the age of joining the show because he was so young.
Yeah. It was like
But
Pete and then Eddie were the two youngest. Eddie was like 18. 26 is nuts, man. He could just rent a car. That's crazy.
There's been a ton of discourse out there, though, about, will he fit in? How much of a wild card is he? I've seen some people like he could end up like this could be great, or he could be, like a one and done guy because he is his own ball of energy. So, I would say it too. Like they have Marcelo too. Like Marcelo is a guy who, on his own, can sometimes just be loud, like screaming guy. And I don't know that about Cam Patterson. What I've watched on his stand up, like the very little that I watched on his stand up, I'm like, man, he is going 100 miles per hour. And it does kind of remind me of Marcelo when he's in the zone, just going and going and going. And like, just like the pacing between him and watching Tommy Brennan. Tommy Brennan, very slow. It's just kind of interesting. So,
Yeah. Well,
but
what they
dude,
could be doing if he has that energy, they could be again a young stand-up who has energy and can maybe be a little bit biting from the Kill Tony side. That could
yes,
be what they're wanting for a potential update comedian because I don't really see Tommy being a hard hitting, you know, a joke that's going to like pack a punch. I think he's going to have jokes that hit in a very funny way. But like maybe Cam will be closer to a norm that it like
stir the
you
pot.
get like like a Che as well too because like Colin's jokes aren't as hard. Sometimes they are. They usually give the harder ones to Che and back and forth. So that could be the plan there too. And I don't think it'll be. It kind of depends on like how they put them together. Like you kind of see this. Everybody kind of finds their group, and you usually see, it's like Will Ferrell and Adam McKay. I know they're not a couple anymore, to put it that way. But
Yeah.
like they were together and they wrote together because I think their just office happened to be together. So if they put Cam in a place where he really gels with another cast member or a writer, maybe it's Marcelo, that is like that's kind of like part of the ball game.
Yeah,
It's
no,
luck of
for
the draw.
sure.
It might just be where's your office.
Dan Bulla like writes a lot for Sarah Sherman.
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah Sherman needs there's a person on the cast, and she's talked about this openly, how she's like writing is not, she's still learning to write, not very good as Chloe Fineman. And like Chloe Fineman is on the cast for her impressions, and that's fine.
Yeah.
You've always had someone on the cast who's like specializes in that, and that's fine. But she was talking about it's sometimes hard because it's like who always looking and I feel nervous about even sometimes asking people to write, for me. So things like that. But I'm excited. I mean, like Cam Patterson's a guy who's something that I feel like they need to, if they're going to play into that and try to get away from a little bit that they are this like left show, especially right now. I mean, dude, like we know it's out there. Like there is a chance that, the person in power or the people in power go after them. And I think balancing it out is a good thing. I really believe that. So
what'll be interesting is if it swings the needle at all, because it's one performer. Because I also think there are people that, like, this is rare. And again, the people that listen to this and are watching right now, like, are going to watch the show and they might be like, that episode was bad or it was good. But like, they're still into it. There are some people that are so dug in of like, oh, I don't like this show. And I kind of just don't get that. Because I'm like, your opinion of it is like from a down year, or I don't know, maybe you just didn't like a cast member, or you didn't like the politics, whatever. But like they're doing legitimately funny sketches, and it's enjoyable. Like treat yourself.
Yeah.
Watch the funny.
I mean, that's a whole other like episode on just like why people do or don't like it and things like that. And like how much is it perception based? Dude, not everyone's watching 20 episodes like you and I are going to do.
Yeah.
And we're always gonna have a rotating guest of like friends that pop in and join us on this podcast. I know a couple of them are in the chat here. My good buddy Matt will be popping in. Strip Mall Steve probably doesn't know it yet, but he'll be asked to pop in, and he's going to bring his Steve self into the mix, and that'll be a good time. Last new cast member to talk about, Veronica Slowakowska. So she is 29, by the way, and will be 30 at the end of October. Saw her on What We Do in the Shadows early on. Very easy to go see her stuff on TikTok and Instagram. And it didn't blow me away. Like, dude, when Sarah Sherman got hired, I went and like, I always do the research, just go like find funny.
Sure.
And dude, she did a video about her SNL audition, like a video about it and showing how poorly it went and made it funny and added all this weird production. I was like, oh my God. Like, this is like before she got the job, and she's got a video on here that's showing all the gross body stuff that she's into as well. But like, it was such a funny play. It's like her getting sick before the audition. It was such a funny play on everything. And I was like, okay, yeah, I already like her. So I do think it's kind of fun to go like watch these people and see what they have. I would say with her, I kind of funny, but nothing jumped out at me. She was also on Tires season 2, which I have not seen all of or anything. So
we'll see. I've only gotten a taste of Tires. It was one like I watched a few episodes and I was like, that's some comedy shows. Now it's just like I watch it. It's just like, okay, I get it. It's like I get the show. It's funny.
There's funny parts, but I don't love it.
She what makes me a little nervous about her, and I was actually kind of surprised. I thought she was younger than 29. I saw her on a podcast talking about how, and this is what made me feel like an old man. She was like, "Oh, I've been studying old SNL," and she was referencing The Lonely Island, which again, I'm sure again the listener base, it's probably a Venn diagram. The Lonely Island podcast, if you're an SNL nerd, it's so great. So she was talking about how she was going down that rabbit hole, but then also going down like Mr. Show with Bob and David sketches and just other sketch comedy shows. And what made me nervous for her was, oh, is she coming at it strictly from a TikTok, Instagram lens, which they'll occasionally do. You know, when they have everyone swiping and it's them doing, also Righteous Kill. I saw it in the chat.
Yeah. So,
But like they do occasionally, they'll do, you know, like Instagram reels or TikTok clips, and they'll have everybody doing like a little bit. That's a good Chloe Feynman. It's a good way to like fire off an impression, or when they do lost audition tapes for Star Wars or something, you can fire off an impression. You can do a weird bit that would be just, oh, someone aimlessly scrolling TikTok. If she's trying to get an education on sketch format, she will either get it so fast and take off, or she will get like completely railroaded by it, because it railroads people who are well versed in this world. So that is where it could be trouble for her.
And she has been, I think she's been at least scouted or auditioned for 3 or 4 years in a row. I don't know, they didn't make her audition 4 years in a row, but they've had their eyes on her for.
They do for some people
for a long time.
I know some stories of people that have, and like honestly, that if we ever get anyone that is willing to share their audition story, I know a few. And like we've all heard it. It's crazy. Like the waiting. I know someone who was in Lauren's office and didn't get it. So yeah, this show is nuts. I'm thrilled that I'm where I am in my life and comedy journey, where I can super enjoy it again. Because, you know, when you know how the sausage is made, you can kind of get away from it. But it's just the best. It's so fun, and that's why I'm glad you're as into it as I am. And we're gonna have a bunch of weirdos, with us that also like it.
Hell yeah! Let's be quick here because we went longer than we said we would. Because
we did. I mean, that's how most of this will go. We like it.
First group of hosts and musical guests, your season premiere for season 51. And by the way, we are statistically setting a record, and this goes back to maybe the sports element as well. Bad Bunny is your host. This is the first time in the history of SNL that someone has been a headliner for 2 episodes in a row, because he was the musical guest in the season 50 finale with Scarlett Johansson. And that will take us to Bad Bunny and then Doja Cat. Dude, Doja Cat, I've always thought, I was surprised that she had not been on the show before. I knew she hadn't hosted, but I was like, she hasn't been the musical guest before?
I drafted her in last year's draft.
Oh, okay, yeah. Danny Bayless got her in this one.
Yeah,
so
that was a really good pick. And Bad Bunny was we'll get to Sabrina, but Bad Bunny was my number 2, Sabrina being my number 1. And you called it that. Like, I thought episode 3, Sabrina was going to be episode 1, but she's doing Austin City Limits. So not that I don't think they would have had Bad Bunny. I think they definitely would have. But yeah, I'm excited to see him. Did you see Caught Stealing?
No.
He's good in it. He's good.
Okay. Oh, I need to see that. Yeah, for sure.
Small part, but he's good. It'll be interesting. Like, I think obviously his language is like coming along, but I know like that's not his first language. So I think it'll be really interesting with how he plays with Marcelo. I think they did a great job with that last year. I want to see that again with their 2 girlfriends and 2 guys speaking Spanish. I think that's excellent.
They had cameos the first time he hosted in season 49 2 years ago. They had Mick Jagger, Lady Gaga, and of course the kind of famous sketch with Pedro Pascal. So I bet they go cameo heavy too, first episode, to help out with that.
Yeah, people in town too. Yeah.
Episode 2, we will get Amy Poehler, and that is actually the actual 50th anniversary of the first ever episode of SNL.
I am floored that no one in the SNL draft, which it's 10 people, 10 picks.
Yeah.
No one picked Amy Poehler, and I have no idea why.
We weren't thinking podcaster.
Yeah, you got to think podcast now. I was kind of thinking it with Sandberg, but Sandberg's also appearing, and he was in The Roses. Like, he has Digman. He's like actively putting out projects outside of the podcast. But yeah, you kind of have to lean podcast now, which is weird.
You have to absolutely think of that. Although I can't say that off the top of my head, I can go, okay, here's where they just brought in a quote unquote podcaster. Like, someone coming and hosting the show out of nowhere. Well, it is a little crazy. I mean, like Kristen Wiig did it when she was promoting something. Maya Rudolph when she was promoting something. So yeah, I guess it is a little weird.
Like, do you think we're at the point, and this is probably a conversation for another day, do we get to call her daddy girl as a host? I could see them taking that swing.
Joe Rogan,
They're crazy popular. They would never ask Rogan.
Theo Vaughn.
Uh, I think you get Andrew Santino before those guys, because I think Andrew Santino is actually a good actor.
I mean, dude, I think they would do Rogan. They had Trump and Musk.
That's true.
Like,
but yeah, would he do it? I don't think he would do it.
Oh no, I don't think he would. He wouldn't take the risk of being even like exposed either. And I'm not saying that, like, dude, Joe Rogan may be able to hold his own, but I mean that show will expose anyone who ain't ready for it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. My memory, and I tried to go find it, but I couldn't find it on my DVR. My memory of the Bad Bunny, I'm gonna go back real quick, is like they had like Bad Bunny, Megan Thee Stallion, and I want to say Jack Harlow that year. And I remember in my head those not being very good episodes. But maybe it was a little better. And I went through and was thinking about it. There were more memorable things from that Bad Bunny episode than maybe than what I had thought when they announced it. So
I thought we might get Jack Harlow again, because I was pleasantly surprised by Jack Harlow. I remember that, because I think Megan Thee Stallion's good too. I think she's better as a musical guest coming in to do a sketch. That's where it'll be interesting to see Bad Bunny again at this stage. And I thought Jack Harlow, I thought it was premature for double duty, but I thought he did a good job. And I'm very interested, because had Sabrina hosted before? She's just been music.
But it's okay. Yeah.
Hard to do.
Dude, Sabrina Carpenter, episode 3. We'll talk about role model in a second. Sabrina Carpenter gets double duty for episode 3. And I'm kicking myself for not drafting her number 1. Taylor Swift dropping a new album, the day before the SNL premiere kind of got in my head. So I picked her. But Sabrina Carpenter was number 1 on my board, and I went off the board like a Jerry Jones move. Sabrina Carpenter is made for this. She will take a chance. She will go all in. She, grew up in the Disney world or Nickelodeon world, one of those. So she's like, she can hang.
The thing for this episode will be, do we get the Ariana Grande moment of like, oh, whoa, she has chops? Because I think there are people on this planet that are just very good at hosting Saturday Night Live. John Hamm is one. There's like so many of the 5-timers, but like Ariana Grande is not someone who I thought I was going to be like, every time she hosts, she busts out some impression. She does some weird sketch. She'll do something with Bowen that's a little like wink, wink, nudge, nudgy, Timberlake and Fallon where they're kind of making each other laugh. But I don't mind it because she's crushing everything else. So I think that's unfortunately Sabrina's bar to clear. We know she can do the performance element of music, and that's her thing. Can she hit comedy live will be the big test. I think she'll be able to do it.
You're so right.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
You're so right, because like it's going to be tough because we're going to grade on that scale, and that's probably not fair because Ariana Grande.
Oh yeah, especially first time. Yeah.
But we all knew that was going to happen, and they let her open up the 50th with Paul Simon. Like, yeah, okay, it makes sense. We get to the musical guest for the second one is for the Amy Poehler episode.
I know is my pick. I forgot.
Role model, your pick, had the big song from a while back. I gotta be honest, man, I don't know any other role model songs.
So I've listened to his album. That's the one. That's the song. They're fine. That song is such an earworm. It's interesting. Like if you listen to Sirius or even just like regular radio, like it'll be on Kiss FM or like Sirius Pop Hits, and then you'll go to like Alt Nation, and that song is there too. It like it's worked its way through to several different channels and types of music. And again, I remember this from the Lorne book. He wants the song of the summer to start the season, or he wants it to be an early presence, which is why Charlie XCX was early last year.
Sure.
We didn't really have a big musical summer.
We didn't.
And it was Sabrina, and then that song came out kind of in the spring, and because there wasn't really a big band or musical artist that dropped the pop song of the summer, it just withstood. And he got to do the Tonight Show, and it still didn't fade after that. So now we have Role Model.
His name is Tucker Pillsbury in real life,
which is fantastic.
If they don't do some type of bit with him being the Pillsbury Doughboy, then what are we even doing with our time here? You know?
Yeah.
All right. Well, dude, this is the first episode, and we'll call it episode 0 just to keep we're going to do an episode.
And we'll probably tighten these because there won't be 3 to talk about, but also
no doubt.
I'll get so nerdy about all this, and I'm sure we will as it goes further and further down the line. But I'm excited to do this because, again, I prepare for the SNL fantasy draft more than I prepare for any other fantasy draft that I do.
For your fantasy lacrosse draft?
Oh, I do some homework for that, but not like my SNL draft. SNL draft, I got a note stock, and I'm compiling.
Same. Absolute same.
That's why
we're going to basically do an episode after each episode. So October 4th, sometime early in that week, we'll do an episode. And then there's possibility, I can't say too much about what's going on, but there's a pretty cool little video network that's starting in town called Haymaker.
I have heard rumor of that.
In fact, if any of you listening want to follow at Haymaker Network on social media, that'd be something you should consider. And maybe the After Party podcast will end up there once Jesse moves to town and all that good stuff. Some questions from the chat. Just want to run through everyone. We saw them all. Mad TV wasn't a big player for me as an SNL guy, but I did watch it from time to time. But by the time it was 10:30, I was moving away from Fox and locking into SNL.
I was a big Mad TV. I was a big Mad TV watcher. I hit them both. I was a big fan of both. And like Mad TV got sillier. And I put that more, again, if you come to Los Angeles and you want to see comedy show, I recommend Largo for stand-up. And then I recommend go to a Groundling show because you're going to get weird Mad TV like comedy.
Yeah. When will you break down every performance of Tim Meadows? We're going to have a whole Tim Meadows episode coming up in 2029. We've got it on the calendar.
I know that's a joke, but I thought of like, if we really are enjoying doing this in the dog days when we don't have episodes, it might be fun to pick up and with sickos and weirdos and fans of the podcast, we watch a episode on Peacock and just break it down.
Oh, absolutely.
Just pick a random one.
No, absolutely. I love that. Maybe we'll talk to we'll have a guest probably join us after the first episode as well. So we'll be back. We're going to put this out as an audio podcast. If you're hearing this on your audio podcast, you already know that. So that's pretty cool. But for the people who will end up watching this on YouTube later on, it'll be on Spotify for sure. And then probably the other ones after that. So we're going to get this uploaded. That's Jesse Kubanet. Jesse's coming to town soon. That's pretty cool. And
maybe we do one of these live somewhere.
Yeah, we'll do a live after party. You know, one foot in front of the other. We'll see where we are, right? But thank you all for being here tonight. We appreciate it. And we'll talk to you sometime between October 4th and October 11th with a review of Season 51, Episode 1. For Jesse, I'm Kevin. Good night. That's the signature catchphrase. I have nothing yet. All right. Thanks, everyone, for being here. I'm talking live on the stream to everyone. Boom.
Yeah.
I'm going to edit it for the podcast. Everyone give it up for Jesse.
Yeah, what could the sign-off be? I don't know.
Everyone give
now I get the echoes back. It's not as long as it is on the counter because we did kind of start over, but it was longer than we anticipated.
100% longer. Yeah, we said 30 minutes and we definitely went an hour. We'll tighten it up. We'll be good.
We'll tighten.
But that was a big off-season, discussion there. Awesome, dude. Talk to you soon. I'll let you know. This might not get up to the weekend because of approval and all that stuff, but
yeah. We're so I mean, can you even talk about it while we're live? Like, where
Yeah,
will it go?
Spotify probably first,
Yeah.
and then all the other places, I think. But I'll text you and let you know. Text you a link.
I also saw
Uh,
someone posting, if they're still here, Lisa Gilroy uh, for SNL. I actually think Lisa Gilroy, if that person's still here, it was Lance. I think Lisa Gilroy is, she said no to the Groundlings,
really?
basically. Yeah. So she is super funny. If people who are still in here don't know her, she's in a lot of stuff. She was in Jury Duty. That was like kind of one of her first like things that I think first thing that like everybody saw her do. But she's very, very funny, like improviser, sketch comedian. Like she does UCB all the time. She went through the Groundlings. Basically, she gets this is the after party after the after party. She gets Sunday Company, which is huge. One of my friends just went through 3 rounds of Sunday Company. And it's massive. It's super, super hard to do. And she was so busy booking TV commercials, other things. She was actually like, I can't do it. Which like she doesn't need to anymore. And like she has like many people are plugging her to like do SNL, and like it's I think balls in her court. She's definitely auditioned. I don't know that for certain, but like I would assume she has. Um it'll be weird. It'll be weird when I do leave Los Angeles because like I'm a little bit closer to all of it now. Like I've seen
Yeah.
people like I know Carl Tart, um, who I'm shocked Carl did
I
not get
thought
pulled up.
I thought it was a like I thought everyone just assumed that was happening.
When uh quick intern story again, like Jeremy was interning at IO. This is back when I was interning at IO. I did it on sketch night, which was Sundays. And so I basically ran the theater starting from like 6 p.m. all the way until the bar closed at like 2 a.m. And you got to turn it around. There's like one sketch that does like an hour, and then everybody else is blocks of 2 sketch groups doing 30 minutes of sketch a pop, and then it just the night runs like that.
Yeah.
Carl was in one, and they would do a sketch show once a month, and Carl was so funny that the person who like coached their sketch team was just like, hey, like we'll just have Carl enter. Like if they didn't know how to make a sketch work, they just had Carl go in and just do stuff. So like Carl Tart is like known as he's super nice, number one, crazy big sports fan, and he is just like the funniest guy ever. I
No,
know.
he's co-
It
comedy
does look
bang
like
bang.
yeah, he's a comedy bang bang guy. I am moving, so yeah, this will be the ugliest background.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of a move, which does suck.
Hey,
It sucks hard.
worse than the guy that asked you to help him move is the guy who asked you to do a podcast while he's in the process of boxing things up and moving.
What's so I'm living in it right now, and it's even worse in the living room. This room is the room that I work in. But like so you still have to live,
You gotta
but you also
live.
have to pack. And so it's
Yeah.
like, okay, like it's not happening that bad right now, but there's moments where like, where's that thing? Oh, it's in
Oh,
a
it's in the
box
box.
somewhere.
Yeah, I'll just
Yeah,
deal with it later.
yeah. So
Looking
it
for
sucks.
your
It's the worst.
okay, well, dude, thank you. I'll post this when I post it, man. Gotta get the
Yeah,
approval from the places and all that stuff, apparently. But
yeah,
all right. Thank you, everyone in the comments, for hanging out. All right. I
yeah,
like Steve's goodbye from two dorks until Saturday night. I think
yeah,
I mean, it's close. We're on the right path. All right. So we're
yeah.
there.
Until
Um,
until Saturday night is great. And if we keep the two dorks thing, because that's what we are. This is no My take on the current landscape of podcasts is it's mostly just dudes. This is what I want to avoid. It's dudes at very cluttered tables. Like that's just what podcasts
why is there
are.
so much shit on those
There's
tables?
so much shit on the tables, and it comes from like Pat McAfee's show. There's just so much shit on the tables. Any barstool thing, any clip you see of Rogan, it's just there's so much clutter on the tables. But then you watch like a Crooked Media podcast and they have almost nothing on the table, just a MacBook and a glass of water, and it's like, oh, that's almost weirder.
Yeah, it's not. There's a perfect amount of shit, but I don't know what it is.
Conan, I think it's Conan's. It's just
Conan's.
mugs and maybe some notes. Conan's does not look weird to me at all. It looks normal as like a Conan stand. But yeah, like all the other ones, there's just so much bullshit all over the tables.
Well, I can't say much about it now, but I will on this live stream. But I can't say much about it now. But I do know that over at the Haymaker Studios that are in progress, there's multiple layouts in different studios. So
is that, and I don't even know if this location can be shared, but is it near a place that rhymes with Schmollertown?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Then, will be. It will be.
Because it rhymes with Schmollertown.
Schmollertown's moving, I think, and opens on the 22nd of October, I believe.
Oh, nice.
Announced. It
hasn't. I should be there for the grand opening, the christening.
Yeah.
Are they going to smack the side with a champagne bottle?
I don't know what's going to happen, honestly. I've stayed out of any conversation at all about pretty much all of it.
It feels like it would be big. A lot
I've heard great things, and I'm like, I believe it.
It's not your fight.
Nah, just like,
like you don't have to do zoning permits and stuff.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't want any. Again, I'm moving states. It's a logistical nightmare. I can't imagine opening a business and like they need like permits and oh god, it sounds terrible.
That sounds awful.
Terrible.
Okay. Rock on, dude. Thank you very much. Man. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Rest well. That's